Hi, I'm Sarah,
Hi, I'm Keeley.
and you're listening to Flowers and Folklore. If you love flowers and folklore and odd floral facts, then you're in the right place.
So, this is a garden gossip edition, and this is the second one in our series where we just get together and chat about flowers that we've been working with and what's inspiring us at the moment.
We're going to kick off the episode with some listener feedback. This is in relation to our nasturtium episode, and we had a wonderful voice note from Laura, who's based in South Africa. Keeley and I have been referring to her as Nasturtium Lady, so hopefully she takes that title on. She sent us this really gorgeous message, so we'll just read out a clip.
Yes, so Laura says, I'm halfway through listening to your delightful, whimsical, just totally charming chat on YouTube about nasturtiums, and there's already so many things I want to respond with. I just loved the artwork and the poems and the different pieces of information, and I just wanted to share because your enthusiasm rubbed off on me. I just loved it. That's four, by the way, four loved. And I've only listened to one, but I'm definitely going to go back and listen to more. So Laura is originally from the United States, but moved to South Africa as a child. And one of the first places they moved to had a rockery in the garden filled with vibrant nasturtiums. And she says, maybe I was just small, but they were the biggest nasturtiums I've seen in my life. I remember their roundy lotus leaves being the size of side plates. It was my delight to go out to this rockery when they were blooming and climb in the middle of them and drink the fat, glistening dewdrops out of the leaves. She goes on to say that she used to love to pretend she was tiny and that her world was just filled with these enormous flowers.
She also shared, I just love them because they're fun and they're really beautiful. And while they look like a common flower that just grows everywhere, when you look at them and pay attention, they're really quite amazing. I love the spur at the back of the flower. I love their colours, their shape, and I've picked bunches of nasturtiums before. And the fragrance is not a typical floral fragrance, but it's beautiful. Also, when you put a bunch of nasturtiums in a vase and arrange them how you like, the next day they will have wriggled and changed their positions, so you'll have a whole new arrangement. Which I just loved, like that. I like that.
Isn't that beautiful?
I feel like tulips are the same, where they wriggle around and make new positions, and I think that's a really great thing about flowers.
And I love that she used to pretend that she was tiny and climbed into the big flowers and had them all around. And the way she describes it, it's like almost like she's like the nasturtium fairy. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's just so beautiful. Um, and Laura also has a couple of interesting facts to share with us. She says, because Sarah and I, in the episode of Nasturtiums, if you haven't listened to it yet, you should. We'll add the link in the show notes. But we were talking about how they just seem to spread everywhere, and we were putting it out to the listeners to ask you if you had any ideas how they managed to spread so widely and easily. And Laura says that each flower produces only 2 to 4 seeds, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but they germinate really easily. And so that's how she thinks they must just spread so easily. The dried seeds can also be ground and used as a pepper or seasoning, which I think I'd like to try that actually. That sounds,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's try
yeah,
that.
yeah. And planting them next to your cabbages or spinach can protect them from pests. Very
Amazing.
cool, very cool.
What a good
So
flower.
they're not just a pretty little picture, they're helpful.
If you would like to share your stories, it doesn't even have to be in relation to one of the flowers that we've shared, just any flower that you love. We'd absolutely love to hear it. The best way to get in touch is via our Instagram, which is Flowers and Folklore Podcast. Keely's better at checking messages than I am. So so Instagram, yeah, our Instagram's the best place to go. Or you can also email us. Our email address is flowersandfolklorepodcast@gmail.com. It's so nice that we have listeners from all around the world. So I think that adds just another layer of interest when it's, yeah, just a different perspective on flowers, to mine and Keely's.
Absolutely. And it's just so lovely to hear people's personal connections to something that we feel so personally connected to and makes us feel all the more nerdy, but all the more connected to our kind of people.
Keely, what flowers have you been working with recently?
So mainly the past month, I've been focusing on getting ready for my floristry exam, or at least in the last couple of weeks. So it's not so much that I've been working with flowers that have been really exciting and inspiring. It's been mainly the techniques and the foundational basic principles of design and elements and principles to principles of design and elements to bring into an arrangement to really make it sing and make it work and make it something that you could actually offer to other people. So that's been my main focus. So I've been working with roses and more of the wax flower, lots of foliage dramas as per usual, but that's just apparently my life. And what else have I been working on? Oh, and lots of smoke bush. I do keep snipping some smoke bush from my neighbor's yard. It is right there. It's right there.
I'm so jealous of your access to smoke.
I am going to go over and introduce myself. She's really lovely. Elliot knows her. They've connected before, but I keep meaning to go over there and offer her some flowers and maybe some cupcakes and say, hey, just can I snip some of your smoke bush every now and then and actually have permission?
That's
But
really
it's
nice.
over on
Yeah.
my side of the fence. It's not like I'm not crawling into their garden, but I still feel a bit evil. But yeah, the smoke bush and those colors are just so stunning. Like the deep purples with a menta rose is the last rose I worked with, and it was just so pretty. It's like almost like a cappuccino-y pink color. It's just
Mm.
divine, just gorgeous. So I'm realizing that what I actually love to create is more, at least at the moment, I love the more monotone work. So there's but with lots of texture and lots of like rhythm to the arrangement, but not necessarily in contrast. Contrast not coming through in the color, contrast more in the form. That's been really interesting. Yeah.
That sounds incredible. We want to see photos.
Yeah, I am. I often give my arrangements to my grandmother. I drop them off at her apartment, and she loves them. So it's nice because then I get to see her as well on a regular basis. And yeah, so she's always very excited by my flowers. I'll definitely add some photos in. But I also did make a wire posy a couple of times, which was a technique that is extremely time consuming. You have to wire every single flower, every single bit of filler, every single leaf that you want to use in this posy. But the effect is absolutely super cool because it means you can kind of manipulate the flowers to how you want them to sit. And it made me feel excited about the idea of working with wire and flowers. And while I also really love the messy, kind of organic, fall whichever way they land floral vibe, I do really love that. I also love the idea of playing with the wire and making it a bit more sculptural and seeing what could happen as we get to do that. So I definitely felt something start to zing when I was working with the wire.
It does really open up like just a whole world of possibilities with wire. I had to learn all those techniques when I was at Floristry College, and then when I worked in quite a traditional flower shop, we would wire all bouquets. But now I've kind of embraced my own style. It's rare that I use wire. I'd maybe use wire when I'm making like mad headdresses or if I'm wanting to do like an alternative buttonhole. But I don't use it a lot, but I love the process of it. I know most florists hate wiring because it takes forever.
Yes.
Um, but I find it really therapeutic, like just twiddling and yeah, making little stitches. Yeah, I just find it really enjoyable, but I don't have a need to do it, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I can see that it's because it's quite dated, I think, I think it used to be very in that floristry would include wire as part of a
Yeah.
visible part of the arrangement, and it was quite beautiful back then and quite unique, and now it's sort of very that's so, 90s or early 2000s look.
Yeah.
But I think it could be quite cool to use wire to create more sculptural pieces and pull things into arrangements that they wouldn't normally be able to go into because yeah, I just feel like it opens up possibilities that yeah.
Yeah, you've just triggered something in my brain as well. One of the textbooks that I got when I was at Floristry College, I remember it specifically saying that it became quite fashionable, maybe this was in the 80s, to be able to see like the little stitch on a leaf or something. It kind
Oh.
of showed that you had a really skilled florist make your flowers, which I think is mad. I feel
You're not meant to
like
see that bit.
yeah, mechanics should be hidden. But
Yeah.
I guess maybe when it was like new and novel, it was, yeah, like it was just that little pop to show that it was like an artisan who'd created it.
Okay,
Um,
interesting. That's
yeah,
so fascinating. Wow.
yeah.
That's
I'll
yeah.
try and find the book that it was in.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll have it somewhere on my bookcase.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What about you? What have you been working with it lately?
So I kind of finished the year on a bit of a high. I was like deep in wreath making. but I kind of took on way too much, right? Which is very, very typical of me. But I had someone get in touch about doing a photo shoot, and I'd kind of spent all my marketing budget for the year. But then they sent me the mood board, and it was I can in fact I can probably include the mood board in the show notes, and it was just really dark, like gothic and opulent. And then the venue that they used was like a 5 minute drive from here. And so I was just like, I can't say no. So on a day where I should have been probably catching up on sleep and tidying up the studio after wreath making, I was on site at a venue called the Marlborough, which is in the south side of Glasgow. A really interesting venue. The room we were working in was like really dark red with then like pops of chrome and gold, and it was a really beautiful room. And yeah, I just had so much fun. It was nice to kind of get a break from just a ton of foliage. And so I was using a really dark hellebore, which I thought was very timely because we've just recorded our hellebore episode. There was also some really dark hydrangea as well, which obviously in the run up to Christmas and being like a bit out of season, it just meant they were really expensive. So I'm gonna have to make the most of all these photos and use them until everyone's sick of seeing them. I also had some really rich red spray roses and then some black viburnum berries. And I was using the viburnum berries during wreath making, and they were incredibly popular. So it was just like kind of handy that I had some left over. And then also a really dark purple eustoma, which was just gorgeous. And then I had some pops of lighter, softer tones coming in. And then the person who was organizing the shoot, she had found some really nice images of people working with like a lot of grapes, like really dark grapes, which I know it's like having a moment to kind of use food in your arrangements. And she was just like, I'm gonna go buy a ton of grapes and you can just style them on the day. And so she came with like £32 worth of grapes. Pounds is in money's worth. There was so many grapes. I'm sure they're going to be finding them around the venue for like weeks to come as well. And then I had some really nice tapered dinner candles that were left over from when I was at the Witchy Wedding Fair. And so they were in like a really dark plum and then a very dark red. And so I got to use them with some nice brass candlesticks. And it was just like opulence and moody, just totally my kind of vibe. I've done styled shoots in the past, but it's been mainly a focus on like bouquets. Whereas to actually do a styled shoot that had like a nice big tablescape, that felt like that was really fun. Everyone on site was so friendly as well. I think that's one of my favorite things about doing shoots is obviously I'm having to fork out money for flowers, which isn't ideal. But then when you get to meet all those connections and see like the hard work that everyone put in, the cake maker had made like a gorgeous cake, but she'd also made a tiramisu tower, which was incredible. And I was just like, I need to get some flowers in, like at the bottom of the tower. And so I'd made these like mad arrangements that there were like some parts of it were quite tight and clustered. And then I had big pops of nerines popping out, which are fast becoming one of my favorite flowers. They are very, very fun. And so it was just a really nice way to kind of end the year, I guess. And then all the leftover flowers I got to use at my Christmas party. And so I took everything apart and then I have two gorgeous like brass troughs and they have never been used for a wedding. And I use them in so many shoots and I've just never had it, like no one's ever wanted them for their wedding, but I use them all the time in my own home. And so I had that like pop of gold coming through. And then I'd love to know your thoughts on this, Keeley, but I go back and forth on how I feel about painted florals. Most of the time it looks tacky, but I feel like a painted foliage, it makes me quite happy. And so I got some chasmanthium, which is also known as wood oats, and it's just like it looks like a type of like floaty grass, and it had been painted gold. And I made some really good arrangements, and they were just popping out and catching the light and dancing with the candles, and it made me very happy. So I'll share some pictures, and like everything was kind of like maybe past its best, like it wasn't quality that I'd share for a client, but in my own home, it's fine to have like some drooping hellebores and some
Mm.
wilting roses.
Oh, I love that so much. I'm envious of those guests that got to go. I bet you it was so beautiful. It sounds incredible. So I quite like the painting of foliage, I think you can get some really lovely effects, like you just said
Mm.
and described beautifully. I also, I don't know, I go back and forth. I really do go back and forth about, because I know sometimes I've seen sometimes flowers sprayed with things like glitter and things like that as well. And I mean, that's bad because of the ethylene is going to kill that flower so fast anyway. But I don't know, I'm not into the painting of florals, like painting the roses
Yeah.
red, like the cards in the Queen of Hearts, Alice in Wonderland. It's not the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with flowers that it often just looks bad. Like it, and a dyed flower, or you can usually tell it's dyed as well. But there's just something about it on a foliage. And obviously
Mm,
you then can't compost it. But I feel like if I ever get in painted foliages, I'm able to reuse them over and over again, which makes me
mm,
feel less bad. Kind of lowers the footprint of them. But
mm.
yeah, I'm a sucker for gold.
I think gold can just look so stunning with so many different colored arrangements. It's can be such a
Yeah.
beautiful add-on. So I'm with you on that one for sure.
I'm also going to mention nasturtiums again because when I'm wreath making, I rewatch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings as I'm mossing all my wreaths. And so this year, I think I had 178 bases to moss, so a fair few.
That's
And so I was
crazy.
Yeah, I know, ridiculous. So I was rewatching Lord of the Rings, and when Sam returns home, so this is right at the very end, Sam returns home from saying goodbye to Frodo as he's boarded the ship to leave Middle-earth, and he is walking by his garden, like down the path by the garden, and it is full of nasturtiums and they're like lining along the fence but also spilling out and it's just so natural and it's so real and I just thought it was such a I mean everyone involved in that project loved Lord of the Rings and it was just so
Mm,
evident because like we talk about on the episode Tolkien had lots of thoughts on the spelling of nasturtiums and we know that they're included in the text and I just thought it's just a really subtle nod to how much they like enjoyed the work of Tolkien, and it
mm.
made me very happy.
That's so beautiful. And absolutely, as soon as you said that, I thought there's just no way that that's an accident. Like
Yeah.
that's not, they just happened to plant those flowers there. Like they knew what they were doing. And it's just that incredible dedication to making the world come to life.
So, what has been inspiring you recently, Keeley?
Well, I have been planning my little tree house, which is, it occupies my thoughts probably more than it should, but I haven't done much on it yet because right now, when I have a spare moment and I need something happy to think about, I think I either pick up the Brambley Hedge book and I go through and I look for inspiration, or I try and work out which season I want to plant my tree in. So by that I mean I'm trying to make it as accurate as possible according to the books. So it either needs to be in summer, spring, autumn, or winter. And I'm thinking I've narrowed it down to being either autumn or winter. See, if it's in winter, then I can make it summer sometimes, which means I can add little Christmas sometimes, which means I can add little Christmas decorations and things like that to my treehouse.
Um,
So
yeah.
but if it was in autumn, the berries, the covering for the tree, like the outside of this tree house, would probably be something like a blackberry bush with, filled with the berries, that kind of thing, which would be stunning. Or if it's in winter, I'm thinking I could probably do ivy. I could maybe cover it with some ivy. So I don't know. Decisions. I'm back and forth. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So, what I'm hearing is you need to make four trees
I
and
should have
have
known.
one of each
I should have
season.
known. You enable my insanity. I mean, that's definitely an option. But yeah, to start with, I think I'm leaning towards winter for this one, which and if I do make that decision, then it means I can actually start doing it and creating the little pieces for it. And so every flower that I use in it, every plant, every item, it needs to be accurate to that season. So that's why I needed to choose it. Um, the other thing that has been playing on my daydreams and scheming and dreaming times is more renovation type stuff. So for my bedroom, I've been trying to come up with a collection of fabrics and textiles that actually work together without it looking too floral or too vintage or too cottage because I love floral textiles. I think they can be really beautiful. It's just such a fine line between it being looking a bit outdated and a bit like off and it looking really chic and classy and just dreamy. So I'm trying to find the right kind of textiles in some gorgeous bedding that would also match with some gorgeous blinds and things like that. So, and it has to be floral.
That sounds gorgeous. I'm gonna need
Mm.
photos. That sounds perfect.
Yes, I'll have to send you the links that I'm looking at the moment. So it's all just daydreaming at this stage, but it's a fun thing to do. And I've got two links for everybody that I'm going to put in the show notes. There's this incredible artist who paints or creates on these building walls crochet, so floral crochet lace kind of and it just look I can't describe it. I'm not doing it justice. I'm going to bring it up and see if Sarah can explain it better than I can.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait, it's enormous. Like it's
Yes.
yeah, the scale of it. The scale of it, but also it's so intricate. It's kind of hurting my brain in a very good way because it's like the juxtaposition of the sheer size of it, but then also it still manages to feel like delicate lace.
Yes. It seriously looks like when they do a wide view shot of the buildings, it looks like the building is covered with lace,
Yeah.
this floral, gorgeous lace, but it's all painted. And so she's just incredible. She's a Polish artist known as Nespoon. It's nes.nespoon on Instagram. We'll add the link so you can have a look, but it's absolutely stunning and mind-blowing. And the second thing is I found this amazing guy on Instagram. His name's Jonathan Hebert, and he basically calls himself a garden gnome, and he makes the most stunning floral head crowns, and he looks like Santa Claus, basically, slash a garden gnome, and he's just the most loveliest, beautiful person. Like I feel like I know him. He just is so warm and lovely in his Instagram content. Yeah, and he just makes the most absolutely stunning floral arrangements. So he's definitely on my list at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like he's the version of if I was an old man, I'd be him. Because he loves the head
That's
crown.
so cute.
He loves the head
Did
crown.
you?
I love the head crown.
He does love a haircut. Did you see one of the comments on the post that I sent you? It says, "God damn it, Tom Bombadil, stop being rad." They're literally calling him Tom Bombadil. I just love it. It's
I was
so
just about to read that out to you because I thought, how
Oh,
funny is that we've just talked about Lord of the Rings? So accurate. And someone else has said, "Are you Father Time?" Oh my gosh, I could watch his stuff all day long.
I know, he's just beautiful. So you are very, very welcome, everybody, because those two links will have you busy in some lovely places for some time. What about you, Sarah? What flower related things have been inspiring you?
So I don't know if this is really lame to say, but or maybe this sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I love wreath season, but this year, I mean, each year I feel like I get better at teaching, and I think this is year four or year five. But some people are just so creative and make the most incredible wreaths. I'll maybe put a collection together that you can all see, but
Mm,
it just makes me so happy to like see people be creative. Workshops last for like 2 hours. So the fact that people put this time aside to come and do something creative, a lot of them have never done it before as well. And so I think that's really impressive because going and trying a new skill can be quite daunting. And then I get a lot of people who also are repeat customers and who've been someone who's been along every 4 years, which is just incredible. And it's
wow.
nice to see that they now start to experiment and try new things. Some people come knowing what they want to create and just like go for it. And it's just really incredible. I probably make it much harder on myself by providing so many materials. So we always have like the classics like spruce and pine, and then I bring along eucalyptus as well because well, lots of people like eucalyptus. But then I usually have maybe four or five other types of foliage as well. And then there's also lots of different embellishments. And so it definitely makes it harder when I'm setting up because there's just so much to bring in. But Scott obviously always helps with that. And there's usually about 15 different types of ribbon for people to choose from. And so that also makes it harder as well because people take their time to decide. And it's not like a speedy process, but it makes me happy. Like I feel like that's the signature for my wreaths is that people will come along and they'll say, "Oh, I've been wreath making before," but it's just been like it's been dictated and everyone's kind of made the same looking wreath. Whereas everyone makes a very different looking wreath and they're able to really express themselves and make something very personal to them. And it's just incredible to witness people trying new skills. And it always leaves me feeling inspired. And not even in my own floristry, it's kind of encouraged me to get back into painting as well. So I treated myself to some oil pastels, which I've never used before. And they're very messy and I'm having fun. But I feel like if, people took the leap to come and try wreath making and kind of pushed me to then try a different medium as well, which, yeah,
I
but
love that.
yeah, it makes me so happy. And then when people send me pictures of their wreaths on their front door and they're really proud, it honestly makes me so happy.
That's so beautiful. And that's incredible. What a special thing to have that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I've been going down a rabbit hole of like floral tattoos. And so in the Hellebore episode, we mentioned Eleanor Gandor and we'll include her Instagram in the show notes. But I've just been yeah, feeling really inspired. I definitely want. I have a vision. I have a vision for one of my thighs. This is maybe a bit of a tangent, but I started getting a tattoo maybe back when I was early 20s, maybe even earlier than that. I had some like ivy growing up my thigh on my left thigh, and for whatever reason, I it's been chaotic, right? And it's still not finished, and I'm now like mid 30s. Tattoo artist kind of just fell off the face of the earth and actually still owes me money, but that's not, I'm just kind of, yeah, I've given up. I've given up. But I'm looking for an artist who can finish it off, but then maybe even add in extra bits. I would love like some kind of maybe brambles or wild
Oh,
roses or like something like entwined with the ivy. The ivy's quite green as well, and I want it to be, it's quite bright. I want it to be much darker. But just trying to find a tattoo artist whose work I love, who's happy to finish someone else's work has been a little bit tricky. So if anyone knows anyone who would do that, take on that challenge, I would love to know because I'd love to get it finished, but also just kind of tweaked more
definitely.
to my vibe. Yeah, so I've been going down a tattoo rabbit hole.
I love that.
And then I feel like I'm always the negative Nelly on this podcast, but can I also talk about what's not been inspiring me?
Absolutely.
So last
Please
week
do.
I went to go and see the second part of Wicked and I loved it. Like it was great. Do you hate it, Keeley?
I'm just for the listeners, I've got my thumbs down. I'm making a funny face. So I did not love it, but continue.
So, I mean, the second part wasn't as good as the first part, but the first part just has better songs. They do create an incredible world. And I know this is going to be such a niche thing, and I understand why on movie sets it has to be the case, but I kept kind of being transported out of the world every time I clocked all the fake flowers. There was just so many fake flowers, but they had shots of like the tulip fields, which were real tulip fields, or at least they looked real. And then like the flowers coming down like the staircases and on the banisters and all things like that. It just looked so fake that it really distracted me. But I know that's probably a really niche, really ridiculous thing to mention.
No, not at all. I mean, I loved the art direction in that movie. I did not love the movie, but they did create a really cool world. But I do know what you mean because it's very obviously not real. Like it's very, there's enough in there that just feels, it's, it's a movie set. It very much looks like a movie set. It doesn't fit, but I wonder if they're doing that because that was the original Wizard of Oz movie where when she goes through to Oz, she leaves a real world and she's in like a dream world and it very much looks like a fake. world in that original movie. Like
Yeah.
she steps through the door and she goes from black and white into color, and she's surrounded immediately. The doorway is surrounded immediately by fake flowers, and they almost look glass-like, or they're
Mm.
kind of transparent, and it's so obviously fake. It's so obviously like a dream world. So I wonder if that's what they were trying to capture. But because I think we have less of the vintage camera vibes, like everything is now just 8K 1000 billion, show every single pore on
Yeah.
every single person's face, it loses the dreaminess,
Yeah. I think
which I
that's
think is
it. Yeah.
needed. So you know you're looking at footage, you know you're looking at a movie set. We've lost the that's a whole other rant for me to go down another day. But I don't love that style of filming because it's too clear, it just you lose it looks like we're watching sets and
Mhm.
props, and rather than it being a world.
Yeah, that's spot on. I think you've probably summed up. Yeah, it just felt a bit jarring.
But I wonder if you were to go back and watch The Wizard of Oz, like even the first scene where she goes through the door and she goes into the color land of Oz, just have a look at and it's like, it's obviously fake, but
Yeah.
it's almost like an exciting version of fake. You're like, ooh, what is this place? Like it's dreamy. It's not like, oh, that's not right. That doesn't look real. It's not, you know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
different vibe. So I'd be interested to see if you feel the same.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I'll go over. That can be my homework for Christmas. I'll go and watch it
Yeah,
and then report
yeah,
back.
definitely. Please do.
What have you got coming up soon?
I'm working on a secret project at the moment, so I can't share what I'm working on right now. It is flower related. It's quite magical. It's very dreamy, and I'm enjoying planning for it and thinking about it and exploring possibilities. And I absolutely will share more about it soon, and photos and things like that, of course. But at the moment, it is occupying most of my creative spare time to think about this project and to think how I might be able to pull it together. So that's a little teaser. And also, I'm working on a few episodes for my own podcast called Creative Courage, and I'm really looking forward to. I've got about 6 episodes that I am scheduling very soon to go out over the summer break. Well, summer for us here on this side of the world, and yeah, I think there should be some really good episodes. I've been enjoying working on those. And I've also created a freebie for people. It's not flower related, but it is creative related if you are in any way an idea person or someone that has a billion ideas all at once and they all feel important and significant and you're not sure which one you want to run with. This freebie might help, or it should help. It's going to take you from having all those ideas and take you through a system to work out which ones are the right ones to focus on right now, and then help you choose the one that you do want to move forward with and focus on in the next season so you can stop trying to do them all at once or just looking at your big long list of ideas and then not taking steps on any of them. It's going to help you get a bit more focused and choose the one to move forward with. So I'll add the link to that in the show notes when this goes up as well.
That's amazing and so generous. I have seen the spreadsheet, the Idea Catcher Spreadsheet, and it is really fun. So yeah, everyone should go and get it.
Thank you. What about you, Sarah? What are you working on next? What have you got coming up?
So well, I've got lots of bits of admin to finish off, right? And then I am gonna put my out of office on for 2 weeks. That is the plan.
Ooh,
I'm gonna have a proper
ooh,
break, and then
luxurious.
yeah, I worked out there was like a period where I basically worked, I think it was about 30 days straight where I didn't take a single day off and not have a
Oh my
weekend.
goodness.
Yeah, it was just wreath season was just bonkers. So I am going to be very intentional at taking plenty of time off. And so there's a project that I'm working on, which is a DIY wedding flower course. And it's kind of like halfway done. It will be out in January, but I'm thinking I need just a break from everything right now. And then that'll be like the focus for January. And I'll probably share like a discount code with podcast listeners if they're welcome to share with their friends if they know anyone who's getting married and wants to have a go at doing their own flowers. But yeah, I was really enjoying working on it until wreath season started, and then everything kind of had to fall away for wreath. But I'm excited. I'm excited for a break and then to get like back into it. So I will share my progress probably on the next episode of Garden Gossip.
That's so exciting. I think it's going to be amazing. I've had a little glimpse into what Sarah's working on, and it looks unreal. So I'm so excited to see how that all comes together. And taking 2 weeks off to be really be able to dedicate to that is incredible. That's so, so good. I'm so excited for you to have that time. Gosh, I can't believe you had 30 days straight without a break. I'd go mad.
Yeah, there was
I'd be like falling asleep at like the dumbest times. And
no,
yeah.
I was like really tired, but it was also making me irritable as well. Like I was very conscious that I was just kind of, yeah, getting annoyed much quicker than I would normally. And it's
Mm.
not the goal of my business. I'm not someone who wants to always be really, really busy. Like I don't see that as success. Success for me is someone who has enough work, but also enough time off to be able to do the things that they love and enjoy. And so yeah, that could be my New Year's resolution. And it only happens at wreath season. Like I'm never that busy throughout the rest of the year, which is why I feel like I do say yes to a lot during wreath season because I know it's just for a burst of time and not always. But I am conscious that next year I'll just hire more staff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That'll make a big difference. Yeah, yeah. So, Sarah, before we go, I have an important question to ask you. I need to know which Christmas movie you will be either binging or watching in the lead up to Christmas or on Christmas Day. What's your go-to?
A Muppet's Christmas Carol, always.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one. Okay,
Oh,
good choice.
really?
Good choice. Yes,
So
yes.
Scott's not really into Christmas films, and so I've been trying to entice him in. We watched Love Actually over 2 evenings because we both got sleepy. So we watched Love Actually, and he enjoyed it. He said he's not interested in Home Alone, so fine, I'll watch it on my own. But my favorite, and the one that I always wait until maybe Christmas Eve to watch, is A Muppet's Christmas Carol. I absolutely love I just love the story, but there's a version of it that's read by Hugh Grant. And so I always, obviously, that's not with the Muppets, that's just the original text. So I listened to that over the weekend as I was tidying the studio and getting ready for like Christmas drinks at the flat. Even though I've like just finished listening to it, it's just whet the appetite. I just love Muppets Christmas Carol. And just the commitment to the film and Michael Caine doing it all so straight faced, just perfect. And
Yeah, he's amazing.
he's so good. And it's just a perfect film. So that will be like my Christmas Eve treat. And Scott is gonna watch it with me. And so that will be nice and cozy. We can maybe make like hot chocolate or something and just have a
Oh, I
really
love
cozy
that.
evening.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
What about you?
Well, I have to admit that I do love a bit of a dumb Christmas movie. I'm quite happy to get lost in a world of just complete nonsense. Um, and so I like watching the sort of silly Hallmark ones that, I mean, they're all the same, like girl meets boy overseas in some kind of insane job that, is completely not doable in real life, and everyone looks amazing and lives in the most amazing houses, and it all turns out magical. So I quite like those ones. But I have to be honest and say that I think the Christmas movie we will be watching is going to be Die Hard because that's, according to my son, that is the ultimate Christmas movie. So, and I think that's what we'll be watching. I even made a Christmas decoration finally for it's a Die Hard Christmas decoration with the Bruce Willis character kind of coming through like the pipe, and he's holding on like a little battery operated candle. I'll have to show you.
That's
So I've got
amazing.
that. I've got that on my tree at the moment. So that's probably what we'll be watching. But if I can have a third answer, I would say my Christmas movie in my head would actually be Lord of the Rings. To me, that's a Christmas movie, even though
Yeah,
it's not Christmas at
yeah,
all. But it's a Christmas movie to me. So yeah, that would be my choice, but it's probably going to be Die Hard.
yeah. No, I'm with you with Lord of the Rings, and now I associate it because I only allow myself a rewatch once a year to keep me motivated for mossing all the wreaths. So I totally get it feels like a winter film, yeah. I only watched Die Hard like for the first time a couple of years ago, and I loved it. Scott and I watched it together, and I can see why it's a Christmas movie. What you just said about decorations just really inspired me because I get really, really sentimental about Christmas decorations. And there's a few that I have on my tree that are just like just so full of meaning. And I'm probably going to share a couple on Instagram, but if people would like to share theirs with us as well, I would love to see them because I love Home Alone. I've got one of the turtle doves. The is the person,
Oh,
is it
how did you?
yeah, I think it's the Duncan's toy shop, isn't it? He gives the two turtle doves to
Yes,
Kevin, then he gives the other one to the bird lady. And so
yes.
I found someone on Etsy who made replicas, and I gave one to my sister because we live, like, she's down in England, so I don't get to see her as often as I'd like. But I remember when I was giving her the gift, and I started crying before she'd even opened it.
Oh,
And I think she thought it was nice, but I don't think she's as sentimental as I am. But
oh.
every year I put on the turtle dove and it just makes me think of her. And then I've got one that, in fact, I think my sister made it for me. Or like, not, she didn't make it herself, but I think she got it for me that has grandma written on it because our grandma died a couple of years ago. And then there's one that has now got more meaning, but we have one with Abby's name on that obviously we used to put on while she was alive, but now it's kind of got more significance because this is our first
Mm.
Christmas without her. And so Christmas decorations they fill me with joy, but also, this sounds ridiculous, but there's also, when I'm decorating my tree, there's also like grief alongside it. And I think that a nice thing to have the two things together because yeah, like and I know it adds a level of sadness, but it also, I think it's important to kind of have the memories that are associated
Mm.
with the decorations, even if they're not always like completely joyful. I've also got some really stupid ones as well. So I've got like just a gold T-Rex, and then
Oh.
every year I like to get a new Christmas decoration. And so when Scott and I were down in London a few weeks ago, we went to Liberty, which is the first time I'd visited Liberty, which is this incredible department store. And I got a glass heart, but like what's the word? Where it's like a real heart, not like a
Like an anatomically correct heart kind of
yes,
thing,
that's the
or
word.
oh right,
So
yeah.
it's like gross and creepy, and I love it. So there's like a weird mix of stuff on my tree. But yeah, that was just a tangent that came into my mind. But do you love a Christmas tree decoration?
Oh my goodness, Sarah. I am like, I think about Christmas the entire year. It's so bizarre. I don't even really know why. I just know that it was always special to me growing up, and it's something that I feel like it just suits my style of creativity so much. It's lights, it's sparkle, it's extravagance, it's abundance, it's rooted in joy and hope and new beginnings, and I just absolutely adore it. And decorating for Christmas is really like I take it very seriously. um, and so I do have a few on my tree at the moment that are very special, and from my Amma Grandad's house, and one of them's like a little wooden nutcracker,
Mm.
and the other one's a little angel, and then I have a brass instrument on there as a memory of my granddad who used to play I think it was the tenor horn, and I used to be downstairs with him as he'd practice. I've still got his music stand. And yeah, and he would wait for me to come up from Canberra every year. I'd have Christmas up there in Sydney, and he'd wait for me to arrive, and we'd string up the Christmas lights together and then flick them on together. And they were those beautiful incandescent vintage colours, not the gross LED lights that we have today. So it is absolutely, I think you nailed it. It's so beautiful, so precious, but there is grief. It is very much a time that you remember the Christmases in the past, and who's no longer there, and finding a way through the beauty that you're creating and the things that you are adding into your homes to remember people as well. So and moments and memories, and yeah, so I think that's quite beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That was really gorgeous.
You too. It's so nice to yeah, because it's definitely quite a special time. So thank you so much for listening today. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you have, as always, if you have some interesting folklore about flowers that we've discussed recently or something that we haven't brought up yet, please feel free to get in touch. We would absolutely love to hear from you. You can find us over on Instagram at Flowers and Folklore Podcast. You can find us on Substack at flowersandfolklore.substack.com. And we would love it if you would share this episode with a friend or subscribe to the show or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are listening. Alternatively, as always, you can do none of those things and we will still love you and we'll still be here next time. We're just so pleased that you're listening and joining us.